So you guys might be thinking, Mr. Docket, why are you making Chris Freightman out to be a Cars 3 character by showing all these other Cars 3 race and rescue Piston Cup characters? Like, don't you know he's from the Cars on the Road Trucks episode? Let me tell you guys a story. I have a lot to say, and there's a lot of lore to get into here, so buckle up. We're getting right into it here. I'm getting out the book, all right? We're getting right into the weeds of the Disney Cars universe lore here. So in the Meet the Cars 3 book, this was the 3rd edition that they did of the book, it included a bunch of new Cars 3 characters, a lot of which got glossed over because, they got released as die-cast and kind of took the shine off of them. And they didn't do too many background characters for Cars 3 like they did for Cars 1. And, Cars 2 really didn't get much attention either, but you can see all these Cars 1 obscure characters in here, and Cars 3 did not get that much attention. Now, if I could find here who I'm looking for, that would be really nice. We're going to have to hop back here to the glossary. We're looking for page 54. Oh yeah, we're tracking. Heat-seeking missile right here, 54. Oh yeah. Boom. So, you got Tiny Lugsworth, who we have here on the table that they released from Cars 3. And look at that. Who might that be other than Herb Curbler? Now, a lot of you guys are going to be thinking, Herb Curbler, that's the four-wheel drive next gen. Well, they gave the name also to this yellow tow truck from Cars 3, one of the race and rescue from Division 17, just like Morgan Martin's, just like Tiny Lugsworth here. So you can read the bio here. I'm not going to pause and read it out loud. I love the little vehicle type there. Haul-ittle, drag 'em, right? And they do haul-ittle other things as well, like pull 'em or something. But yeah, drag 'em is pretty funny. Now, the artwork is pretty similar. It literally looks just flipped and then the decals were removed. So you can see here how he's looking off to his right side, whereas on the book here he's looking off to his left side. And the grill is a little shinier. It's a little less drawn out. It's more animated, but it does look very similar, if you kind of did like a rotate horizontally on Microsoft Word type of deal right there. I mean, it's the exact same model. It's the exact same base color, but in the trucks episode, he obviously doesn't have those decals. He doesn't have the race and rescue decals. And Adam Rodriguez was kind of a similar story because he does appear in Cars 3 as well, but with, again, added decals. The Cars on the Road version did have some of these medical decals and race and fire and rescue and all that stuff, but no mention of like the division he's in. It doesn't have the Division 17 badge that Tiny Lugsworth has here, as you can see there with the flags that just have race, fire, and rescue, the text on it. You can see also here with Morgan Martin's, the Super Chase they did in 2017. So basically, they have ended up releasing all 4 members of the squad, but 2 of which they've done through Cars on the Road, which has kind of diluted the characters by making them just generic tow trucks and fire and rescue trucks, right? There's no decal specifying exactly where he appeared. So yeah, I mean, it's just a little disappointing because I would have rather gotten this character from Cars 3, so it had the Piston Cup stuff, than Cars on the Road where it's just blank. But hey, that's all the complaining you're going to hear out of me because this release is absolutely incredible. And I am so grateful that we got it at the end of the day because it really would have likely been a deluxe a couple years ago when deluxes existed, because here you have the Cars 2 tow truck. It's pretty much the exact same size. And so if deluxes existed, you can bet your bottom dollar that Chris Freightman would have been one. They had to really expand the blister here. You can see how much higher it extends than a typical Lightning McQueen here. You could see the size difference there, and so the artwork has to be a little bit smaller to accommodate for that extra space. But yeah, I am very grateful about this. As you can see, new for 2024. We just pulled it out of 2024 Singles Case G. And so I will leave the link to that unboxing in the description below and card suggestion pop up in the top right hand corner. It is one of the best cases I've seen in a while. It's probably the best of the year because you got 2 new characters, which is very rare, especially at the beginning, like the beginning half of a year. toward the end of it, it gets a little more common. But yeah, Tony Motorfelt was also in the case, who we'll be reviewing soon. Another character that we know for sure would have been a deluxe if deluxes were around, because he's the exact same model as Roscoe. You also got a couple new variants in it as well. So it's an all-around really good case. But this is my favorite, and that is why we're reviewing him first out of everybody. On the back here, as you can see, it's just other Cars on the Road characters. Some of the really good ones, too. You have Tractor Ghost, Cave Mater, Lightning McQueen Deputy Hazard with Slime. All three of those debuted in Case D. Space Creature, Lightning McQueen, and Quadratorcusar debuted in Case C. President Mater debuted in Case E. So even though we're on Case G now, that is still pretty up to date because there was nothing of note from Cars on the Road in Case F. I would have just preferred that they put Tony Motorfelt here on the back, and then vice versa for Tony Motorfelt's card, have Chris Freightman on the back of him, just to be a little bit more up to date. I will mention all these are new releases to 2024, except for the Quadratorcusar, who got a very minimal, but it existed, release in 2023. So I'll be right back with Mr. Freightman here all opened up. Chris here is looking amazing out of the package, but I actually misspoke. There are 5 members of Race Division 17. Probably the best one is Stu Scattershields, the flatbed that ends up carrying Lightning McQueen off into the distance, basically. Yeah, just taking him to the hospital, or maybe Morgan Martins does that because he's the ambulance. I'm not really sure, because it pans out so quickly. They had to cut down parts of the movie, and I think this part got cut down on a little bit because it automatically just time jumped to him 4 months later. But yeah, really cool set of cars here from Race Division 17. Again, it just would have been nice if Chris and Adam had that little badge. I know you guys are like, who cares, Mr. Dockett? Shut up already. But it just would be cool to like complete the set that way, because they already did do 3 of them. And yeah, all of them came out in 2017. And then after that, they were like, yeah, to hell with it. We're done with all that. But yeah, Stu Scattershields is one of the rarest releases over the last 6-7 years, because he was only released as a deluxe internationally. Never got a US release. He's also just like one of the coolest cars that they've ever done because of this long flatbed back here that is actually quite handy to use. So I will show an image of Chris Freightman from Cars on the Road, and then I will also show where he briefly appears in Cars 3, which I guess is a different character, Herb Curbler. To me, it just feels very strange to like start naming all these characters from trucks, because some of them seem to be real, but other ones like are not real, right? Like they're just a figment of Mater's imagination, because you see all the semi-cabs at the gas station, but you don't really see like the garbage truck. You don't see Adam or Chris at the Stuckey or Truckies gas station, right? So do they even exist, right? So now we're giving like actual names to characters we're not sure even exist in the Cars universe, just Mater's dream. Maybe he saw them like 3 years ago and is just thinking about them in his fantasy. Like, oh, I hate that episode. I'm sorry. You know what? I don't hate it, but just it's a little frustrating. That's all. But I'm very happy it actually allowed us to get this car, because we would not have, I guess, ever gotten him without him reappearing in a sense in Cars on the Road. So in that sense, I am grateful. But we have a lot of comparisons to do. We have a lot of tow trucks I want to compare him to. Yes, that includes Bubba. And also, he is a very similar model to Adam Rodriguez and Ray Reverham, so we want to touch on that as well, but we are just going to focus on him solo dolo for now. I like his cute little smile here, just looking straight ahead, and I just love the dirt detailing, I should say, around the grill and the fenders here and the bumper. The bumper and the grill are plastic pieces, but the metal body does extend pretty far toward the back here, all the way to this point here, to the bumper. Now this centerpiece here is plastic. However, obviously was expecting it to be. What I also was expecting though is for the whole back half of him to be plastic, like with Adam Rodriguez. Like you get here, all plastic, right? You get, I mean, Morgan Martins is the same way. Stu Scattershield, same way. Toe and Owen was not that way actually. So I guess they took a page out of Toe and Owen's book. But yeah, really cool. We'll get to that here in a second. But yeah, just like the detailing to make him look like he has been out there getting grimy, getting dirty, picking cars up, saving the day. Just looks the part, you know what I mean? He looks like the tow a truck part. Just kind of going, around the local towns, doing his job. You got plastic side view mirrors, little door handle there that is just painted on. Some more decals. Little caution light back here. You do have the red, white stripes for the caution tape. Very nicely detailed back here because they painted the back bumper with the lights there and these hooks. Now, obviously, what we really care about is how he looks here in the towing cable department. So he's got a couple of spare tires back here up on his racks, but they're a lot smaller than his own. And now this is what's really cool about them is that this part here does move quite a bit. So this is part of the towing apparatus. And I would say it's like it's not rubber, but it's like a very light, bendable plastic, which is awesome because it's sturdy, but you can move it around and actually simulate that real kind of experience. Now, from what I am gathering here, this part, the scoop or the actual piece that would connect to a car that he would tow does not pop out of its socket where it's kind of locked into right now. I don't want to break it or anything, but yeah, I wouldn't expect there to be too much functionality to it because it is just like a $5 car at the end of the day. But yeah, you got the hook up here which attaches to the scoop essentially, and I'm pretty sure that's what it would be referred to as. Let me know in the comments below. I'm not up to date on all the tow truck jargon. You got a little piston right there as well. Just super nicely detailed. Would have been so much better if it had actual decals for the piston cup. But hey, take what I can get. Can make an easy custom. Beautiful. I guess there is another whole member to the team here, and that would be the police car. But don't worry, guys. I'll be getting the police car soon. Anywho, tease. Made in Thailand, we know that. You got 2 screws in the back. So that's another reason why I thought this back portion would be plastic. But, I mean, the middle part is just the outer shell of the body is die-cast metal. And yet they still used screws. TO7A, so produced during the 7th week of 2024. The base is interesting. You got these 2 little holes in the front bumper here. But it's not like they're used for anything, like letting himself be towed. No, you wouldn't do that. It would have been kind of nice to make it so this guy could actually tow other cars, or especially McQueen, who they have started to include the towing holes on all of his bases, but they do just seem to be exclusively for Mater and his hook. President Mater has a hook as well. But yeah, I mean, it would have been nice if maybe you can tow McQueen with Chris Freightman, because all the McQueens already have the holes, so you just have to give him a similar hook to Mater. But I think they went for accuracy over everything, which I can definitely respect and appreciate. You also have the plastic light bar up here, which I didn't mention. But overall, a beautiful release. It's one of my favorites of the year. Probably is my favorite of the year so far. I anticipate it being in my top 5, I think, by the end of the year, unless, again, they surprise us with like another Christmas, Mater Saves Christmas type car. Like, if they drop something on the par of Clutch Kringle, Tony Motorfelt's definitely in trouble, but Chris Freightman might be in trouble too. Because I think, Mandy Frudenbender is going to edge him out. Maybe one of the GRCs, but we will see on that. Now, the first tow truck we ever got, besides Mater, obviously, is Race Tow Truck Tom here. Again, no functionality to his, and he always just had such a wimpy little hook. I was, back in the day, able to tow my regular McQueen with him, but the new versions are a little narrower, so I'm not able to. But you are able to tow kind of the original McQueen by sticking it in the rivet hole. But again, the whole back portion of him is plastic, so that's why I'm really happy with for Chris Freightman. And you can tell that he's bigger. He's got a little bit more girth than Race Tow Truck Tom, so that's another reason why I thought he would have been a deluxe if they did do that a couple years ago. I mean, Race Tow Truck Tom was always a single, but he is a much smaller character. They have done Race Tow Truck Tom from Thailand, believe it or not. It was a very obscure release. It was like the first case that they ever did of singles from Thailand. Now Bubba is like a mega deluxe. It was so weird how they released the storytellers. Like, you had 2-packs, you had like 3-packs, and some of the 2-packs had deluxe in. I think that's how they rationalized it. Like, they would do a 3-pack with like regular size cars, and then they would do like a 2-pack, but one of the cars would be like gigantic, like Bubba here. So they cost the same amount, and you would be getting a similar value just because Bubba is, you know, so big. Oh, Bubba. Toe and Owen's a really good comp for him because both don't have any decals. It is kind of strange that Toe and Owen doesn't have any World Grand Prix decals or, you know, anything at all. Like Alfredo, you know, the ambulance from Cars 2 had some decals. But yeah, he is fully metal as well. He's got a very interesting towing apparatus back here. Something I've never really seen before. My Toe and Owen's a little dusty. I don't know how that happened because he's in an enclosed case. Yeah, both these guys would probably grab a beer together. I mean, they look very similar. Probably don't speak the same language, but hey, they'll communicate through their tow truck language. Yeah, these do look pretty cool, though. It's always nice to add to like a construction type category or, you know, something like that within the Cars universe. You know, add another tow truck. I like it. Ray Reverham shares like the same front half of this body mold. They've been using this quite a bit with some characters. And yeah, Ray Reverham kind of kicked it off, as you can see there with the grill, bumper, both those being plastic, everything else then being die-cast metal. Just glad that they haven't repeated an expression yet. That would be highly disappointing. Although this one does just kind of look flipped, like if you rotated it horizontally. In Microsoft Word again, the eyebrows I'm talking about. And yeah, the eye placement as well, or the eyelids, I should say. But yeah, brown eyes versus a more bluish tone. So it's interesting. I like these characters a lot. I was a big fan of Adam last year. He did sneak into my top 10. Do I like Adam more or Chris? I really can't answer that right now. I can't because I have too much recency bias that I am unwilling to let take over me right now. So I'm not going to answer that. Both of them are awesome releases. I do think Adam maybe gets a few more points because he still has some of these decals like Race, Fire, and Rescue, which is accurate. Like, I mean, like we said, that is on Tiny Lugsworth. So he's only just missing that 17 badge, whereas Chris is missing like any semblance of decals whatsoever. But yeah, guys, that is all, I think. I mean, obviously, we have Mater here. He's a tow truck, so we have to do a comparison there. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comment section below, which is your favorite member of Race Division 17? You have, of course, the first member, Tiny Lugsworth. Then your second member was Morgan Martins. Not by much, though. Stu Scattershields came out shortly thereafter, but just did not hit any USA stores, along with the Blimp and the Jocko Flacco Max Semi. And then, of course, Adam Rodriguez joined us last year, right around this time in Case J. And now we have Chris Freightman. Very exciting stuff all around. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye now.